What's the vibe, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Running Off The Screen presented by Raptors Republic. I am the man they call Mac. We are at the time of year where Summer League has just completed and teams go through the final stages of preparing their regular season teams, giving hundreds of basketball hopefuls their final shot to impress and make an opening night roster. Their anxiety must be at an all-time high, but thankfully there's the G League. So let's say their camp doesn't go well, their journey definitely hasn't ended, right? In the past few years, the Toronto Raptors have been fortunate enough to find a couple valuable pieces in the collection of their training camp invites. In 2020-2021, we saw fan favorite Ute Watanabe beat out Henry Ellison, Alice Johnson, and a banged up O'Shea Brissett. Speaking of that, it's good to see that Alize and O'Shea found their ways onto other organizations, and it's pretty much an indication of how competitive that camp battle with the Raptors may have been. In 2018-2019, we saw Chris Boucher outlast Eric Moreland, Kyle Collinsworth, Kay Felder, and Deng Adel. And we all know what happened with Boucher. He ended up becoming the Giannis of the G League, winning the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. And then he worked his way as a key rotational piece this past season. In 2016-2017, we saw Fred VanVleet secure a spot over Brady Heslip, EJ Singler, Drew Crawford. And I still remember the reports during that time talking about how dominant he was during camp and how DeLon Wright's shoulder surgery may have opened the door for him to have his moment. But now we fast forward, he is now a core piece of our organization and probably the leader of the locker room. And Masai has made it known now that he wants to win through developing and just through a development of his players. He wants his players to grow together organically and just become a perennial force in the Eastern Conference. If you quickly look at what the Raptors are up against and you want to use the NBA Finals as a reference, you look at the Bucks and the Suns, who are both teams who technically built their roster through that development and just made those finishing touch trades coming into that season, right? With the Suns getting Chris Paul, and I think a week later, the Bucks getting Drew Holiday. Anyway, a team that wants to win during a time that they are developing players seems like a difficult task, but I think it's one that the Raptors are poised to execute. There are about 4 available spots on our roster and currently 5 players battling for a spot. So the thought process of who will fill those spots will be interesting to follow, especially for argument's sake. Let's say everyone has a great camp and brings out exactly what the Raptors expect of them. How do you choose who makes it? We also have to factor in the rumors that the Raptors and Mavericks are going to do a 3-for-1 deal involving Dragic getting swapped for Dwight Powell, Moses Brown, and another young prospect, possibly Tyrell Terry or Josh Green. That deal would have to take place October 1st, right around preseason time, due to the restriction of Moses Brown's contract. But let's pretend that rumor didn't exist. And at the moment, this season's rendition of the Toronto Raptors training camp battle has the following participants: Isaac Bonga. His career in the NBA, he shot 44% from the field, 30 from 3, 77 from the line. He's a tall, versatile defender. Another one of those guys who are 6'8" and up. He came into the draft as a 6'8" point guard, so he has the playmaking ability. But throughout his NBA career, he's been playing a lot of the small forward position. Like most of the league, he needs to improve his shot making. And I think that's going to be the key to this training camp. Guys separating themselves from the pack just by consistent shot making. I think the Raptors picked him up to see if he can become a solid 3-and-D potential player. And they want to see him push the pace off the rebound, right? It's pretty clear the Raptors' goal this season is to run as much as possible. Another guy battling for a spot is Sam Dekker. In his career, he shot 48% from the field, 29 from 3, and 61 from the free throw line. He has the skills to become a solid glue piece. Another 6'8", 6'9" versatile player who developed as a three-point shooter while playing overseas. What he needs to do is just show that he can defend both forward spots effectively. What the Raptors want to see is him prove that his time overseas improved his game. You know, that he's able to play with urgency and hunger, and that the 15% jump in his three-point percentage isn't a fluke. We have Ishmael Wainwright. His career overseas, he shot 48 from the field, 32 from 3, 73% from the free throw line. He has all the defensive toughness and versatility you look for. He's a very mature player. He has all the intangibles, right? He plays with hunger, the hunger that I mentioned that Dekker needs to play with. One thing you're looking for him to do is continue knocking down shots and locking down players. Particularly, he needs to hit that corner three. And he has to just show that he's a reliable rebounder. At his height and at his weight, you think he's going to be playing a lot of the small ball 4, so he needs to be able to get on those boards. I'm pretty much sure that the Raptors signed him to become a PJ Tucker 2.0. Again, all he needs to do is defend. Well, easier said than done, but all he has to do is defend, bring some toughness, and hit that 3, right? And I think every fan out there is rooting for him to make the roster. I personally hope he gets one of those open spots. His attitude and energy is something that fits our culture. So fingers crossed that he has a great camp. Then we have Ute Watanabe. His career numbers, he shot 41% from the field, 36% from 3, 72 from the line, but 83% this past season with the Raptors from the line. He has a head start over the camp invites. He made the roster last season off of effort and defensive intensity. He has a pure hooper skill set. You know, he does everything well. In the Olympics, he averaged around 18 points a game. And I've said it before, obviously his role is different on the Raptors than the Olympics, but the energy he brings on the defensive end needs to be the same energy he brings on the offensive end, right? Don't be afraid to attack and score. He just needs to show that he has the want to score, right? He wants to continue to show that effort that he displayed on defense, and I feel he'll be able to prove himself and make the team once again. And last, we have Freddie Gillespie, 52% from the field, 70% from the free throw line. He's a proven shot blocker, and he's just not afraid to contest shots at the rim. Things that he needs to improve on is his basketball IQ on offense and just his scoring in the paint. You know, it looked a lot like Aaron Baines during the Summer League. He shot under 30% from the field in the Summer League, which is pretty rough for a center, for anyone in general. It could be a product of him overthinking, so let's see if he cleans things up during camp. I think the Raptors want to see him be able to finish around the basket. But even if he manages to get a respectable efficiency rate, he will have a tough time making the roster with Precious Achiuwa, Kem Birch, and now possibly Moses Brown on the roster. Oh, and another rumor out there is that the Raptors are looking at signing Kevin Pangos. I don't know how much truth to that there is, but I remember a couple months back they were rumored to get Wainwright, and they ended up getting him. So this might be the same type of thing. I feel that it would be a great addition to a camp where I feel there's a lack of true point guard depth. Pangos went to school in Newmarket with one of my friends, so it would be kind of cool to see him get another shot at the league. He was always someone I felt like deserved to be in the NBA, and he and Andrew Wiggins had a nice battle back in the day. So with all that said, I predict that Ute and Wainwright will make the final roster, and the additional pieces from the Dragic trade will round out the remaining spots. But please let me know who you think will make the final roster in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Please remember to like, subscribe, and raise the vibe. Peace.